What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. It is time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today's series is going to be between SjoW and Harstem. Now this is going to be on the map Shattered Temple. SjoW spawning in the 6 o'clock spawn location as our blue Terran player. And then over here in the 12 o'clock we've got Harstem as the pink Protoss player. So yes, this is going to be a Terran versus Protoss, SjoW versus Harstem here on Shattered Temple. You know, I actually just got finished doing a commentary series. It was a best of 3, and it was terrible. It was probably one of the worst sets of games I've ever casted, and it made me really sad because the website that I get my replays from typically posts, well, pretty solid games, but it was just really, really bad. And so I got finished about after an hour's worth of commentary, casting the games, and I was like, well, this is awful, so time to delete these and do another set. So hopefully we get a better set, and I guess this is part of the problem without pre-screening the games. Obviously the good part is that I catch a commentary the first time I see it, so you guys kind of get my initial reactions and thoughts on the game. The problem is that if the games end up being garbage, then I just waste an hour and absolutely nothing comes of it. But c'est la vie as they say. It's just didn't work out. They were crappy games. So bad. Alright, so Harstem now dropping down his gateway, coming with a simulator immediately after that, and you can see right now he's going to be scouting out. Now it looks like he will firstly be checking that 3 o'clock spawn location, then immediately after moving down to the 6 o'clock, at which point he will be scouting out SjoW. As we notice, SjoW went with his depot over here, but has in fact placed his barracks at the front of his ramp. And there you go. In addition to that, he does also have his refinery coming out, so it's not like we'll be seeing a 1-Rax expand or anything fancy like that. Everything so far from SjoW looking pretty standard. The probe scout should make it in the main base. He's got enough time before that first Marine finishes. We'll see how far he decides to venture on in once he realizes that there is in fact a Marine building. And actually we do have that second depot placed right there. And this is so interesting to me because had he placed the first depot, he would have actually had a full wall off right now. But also he would have lost some resources due to that further travel time. But nonetheless, the probe is moving on into the main, getting some scouting done. Again, pretty much seeing the standard stuff, but at least now he knows, hey, it's not a 1-Rax expand. And the other thing, too, is now he's lost the probe. As long as SjoW does just a little bit of micro, he should be able to get it. A couple more shots, and there it is. SjoW takes it out, so gets a scout, but loses a probe. That's unfortunate. We got one factory coming out right now. Second Marine. We got a third Marine in queue as well. I was wondering if we're going to see reactor for Hellions, but apparently that is not the case, as SjoW is deciding to just stick out with pumping out Marines here out of the racks. No attachment as of yet. And actually, we'll be getting a bunker here from SjoW as well. Very interesting coming out of this bunker. Keep in mind that the bunker does give that extra range to those Marines. That's certainly quite a big advantage to that. One Marine scouting out the 9 o'clock position. Upon realizing that Harstem is not there, he now immediately knows Harstem is up at the 12 o'clock because you cannot spawn close positional on this particular variation of this map. You notice the supply depots right there. Those are placed there intentionally to stop a certain type of harass in the PvZ matchup. But obviously that is nothing that we have to talk about at the moment. That's the other thing too. I know I just casted a TVP the other day, and I was trying to get a PvZ. And the last set, you know, the set of really bad games that I just casted and had to delete because they were so terrible, that was a PvZ. And I was like, yes, finally I got a good PvZ, hopefully. And again, it turns out to be garbage. So that's another thing. Sorry for the additional TVP. I had hoped to cast a PvZ, but unfortunately those plans fell through. Alright, so we're going to be seeing 1 gate into expand, following that up with a 3 gate. We'll be seeing a robo eventually, although obviously that is not up quite as of yet. Hellion moving out, and we'll be trying to get some scouting intel. Let's see what he manages to check. We'd also have a starport building right now, continuous Hellion production, a little supply block there, and actually we just saw a supply block for Harstem as well. A little surprised that either of these players are actually coming out this supply block, specifically SjoW. SjoW I'm fairly well aware of. I haven't really seen many games of Harstem, the individual, but SjoW most certainly, and I'm surprised given his caliber that there was actually any supply block going on. And it looks like he does lose. The Hellion does manage to get a few kills in the process, though. We take a quick look. 6 worker kills total. That's actually quite impressive early game single Hellion harass there to get 6 kills from that. That's certainly quite the feat. Back at home, we got 1 Hellion in play, 2nd Hellion coming through, and we've got that starport just about finished that medevac. So he probably will be waiting until he gets 3 Hellions. That's going to be the assumption before he decides to move out with that. And we do have a probe actually checking down here to see when and if SjoW does drop that expansion. As we can see, it's going to be quite a while until that happens. Oh no, is a probe going to scout this? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does! He scouts the medevac. The probe scouts the medevac as it makes its way across. And now all of a sudden, Harstem is fully aware that a drop is coming. And he should pretty much be all set. We got a 1 sentry over here. We'd like to see a couple more sentries as well. These early expand builds pretty much necessitate sentries as a form of early game defense. We'll be chrono boosting out the observer and actually keeping that in the main base for now. You can see that rally point. Here comes a drop. Still going to be another moment or two until it makes it into the main, but I have a feeling Harstem is going to be all set. Again, he did scout it out with his probe, and actually pylon getting placed down right there. Not sure what happened to the probe. I believe that Marine may have killed it, but yeah, unfortunately that pylon is going to be forced to cancel, and there it is, getting back some of those resources. Here's that medevac finally preparing to move on in, and actually we have that observer checking the high ground to see for that medevac. Unfortunately, that was not there, but here it comes right now, and the medevac moving on down, and let's see how effective this drop is going to be for SjoW. Alright, Hellions moving down with those Marines. Hellions, of course, want to go straight for those workers. Unfortunately now, as we can see, Harstem is fully prepared to engage and take care of this. We got the Zealots pushing forward, and now with the Observer, he should be able to keep it in step. No, the Observer's way back there. Unfortunately, not moving down with that medevac. He would have been able to get a few extra shots off there had he done that. Trying to drop now at the expansion. Unfortunately, though, he does not have quite the force that he started with. And actually one Marine getting left behind, and he gets taken out there by a couple of shots from the Stalkers. Back over here, we got an Observer Scout moving on through, checking the production facilities over here. It looks like we're actually going to be seeing the, wow, very interesting starports moving down all the way over to the edge, as he does want to use a racks for this tech lab back here. Pretty interesting positioning there. Concern is, though, with vision of the high ground, that this starport could be very, very vulnerable from a push from Harstem. Going to see a follow-up here of a single Banshee, actually. Yes, it is in fact just the one, and SjoW is moving now down into his expansion. We got a bunch of idle SCVs over there. They're finally working their way on down. I believe they were target fired down to the natural, not target fired, but they were told to go down and mine at the expansion. Unfortunately, there was a full block off there when they were, and they eventually ended up getting trapped as a result. Again, one of those small little mistakes, but seems just really uncharacteristic of SjoW. So hopefully he starts to bunker things up here and do a little bit better. Those small little mistakes definitely do make a difference. Medevac still kind of bouncing back and forth. We'll take a look at the total number of workers killed. So far in this game, it's been 10 workers killed for SjoW. Nothing here for Harstem. We'll be seeing a Banshee moving back to the resource line. Those couple of Stalkers, though, will be enough to take care of it. Observer Scout also checking the edge of Harstem's base, and again, don't expect that Banshee to do much of anything. Now, he does not have cloak research, but the Observer grants vision to the high ground, which prevents the Banshee from being able to hide up there away from any Stalker fire. And look at this already, a Banshee taking a couple shots there as the Observer's fully within range, and trying to chase that down there. The Stalkers, unfortunately, though, a little bit too slow to be able to catch up, and the Banshee is able to make it away nice and safe. Observer Scout still checking the front there of SjoW's base, so he will see when any push does eventually come. Taking a look down over here, we can see that SjoW is actually planning to move down into a third expansion. He's got that building already. Is that building in his main? Where is that bad boy building? It's somewhere over here. There it is. Building that expansion, preparing to move into a third base at some point. He's also going to be dropping the rocks here at this high yield. Taking a quick look at upgrades, we got actually nothing here for SjoW at the moment. A couple stemmed up Marauders will be taking control of the center tower there. No upgrades at the moment as well for Harstem. However, he is coming out with the level 1 armor upgrades. And as we can see, the infantry level 1 upgrade also coming out here for SjoW. Factory Scout just kind of chilling out right here at the moment. Would actually like to see that make its way towards the main base of Harstem. Now back over here, we can see we're going to be seeing Charge Zealot upgrades coming out here for Harstem. Also working his way up to get some Forge. To getting an additional Forge so he can get some more upgrades in play, trying to get that weapons and armor out at the same time. And it looks like we will be seeing some sort of a bio push here from SjoW. He's actually got a tremendous opportunity to take out this part of the army here. Harstem's actually looking pretty vulnerable at the moment, at least in that position. And here we go, SjoW prepared to make his push. Harstem is scouting that out there with the Observer. I don't know if that makes any difference, so I'm not sure he's going to be prepared for this. This is a pretty potent force against what Harstem has, because Harstem does have no upgrades in play and lacks the charge upgrade as well. A couple of force fields again placed down. Unfortunately, though, with this level 1 weapons upgrade, SjoW is able to tear through that front line of Zealots, and this is very anticlimactic as Harstem just forced to call the GG. He just got mopped up and caught at an awful time. Harstem opened up one gate into expand, and now we saw a quick factory and Hellion from SjoW, and with this he was able to sneak right up into Harstem's main, and Harstem, lacking many units, actually ended up taking a little bit of damage to the single Hellion. We're going to see him actually do a little bit of work here to the probe line and ends up getting quite a few kills, especially given the fact that it was just one Hellion. SjoW followed up that opening Hellion harass with a Marine Hellion drop. Unfortunately, this was something that Harstem was fully prepared for, and that prevented SjoW from doing much damage at all with it. SjoW then moved into his natural expansion, worked his way up to Stimpak Combat Shield and level 1 weapons upgrades. With this force, he was able to push out and catch Harstem just before he finished his level 1 armor upgrade, as well as this charge upgrade for his zealots. This timing push proved to be way too much for Harstem to handle, and SjoW was able to quickly mop up his forces. Alright guys, that was game number 1 here between SjoW and Harstem. We'll be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.